Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. France, the UK and the United States strike Syria. We look at how the bombings played out on social media. Coachella. Beyonce lights the festival and the internet on fire with her performance at Coachella. Give us back our stuff. Ethiopia to the UK after a museum in London offers to temporarily loan Ethiopian treasures stolen by the British Empire. And to get your week started with a smile, we'll show you some pandas falling off stuff. Well, at the top of the newsfeed today, the bombing of Syria by France, the UK and the US. Now, you will have seen these images all weekend, the targeting of places said to be used by Syria's Bashar al-Assad for storage, production and use of chemical weapons. Now, it was a coordinated response by the militaries of Macron, Trump and May to what happened in Duma on the 7th of April. That was when images appeared of people suffering from the effects of chemical weapon attacks. But each of their leaders took their own approach on social media. Now, the response was always coming and was telegraphed on Twitter by President Trump with this on the 12th of April. He told Russia, Syria's ally, to get ready and that nice and new and smart missiles were coming. Well, once they launched, President Macron posted this, saying that a red line had been crossed, the image accompanying the tweet reminiscent of when Barack Obama ordered the killing of Osama bin Laden. Well, Prime Minister May posted this video explaining why the UK was taking part.
Conduct coordinated and targeted strikes to degrade the Syrian regime's chemical weapons capability and deter...
Well, Russia jumped on it. This tweet coming from their embassy in South Africa. It's a regular tactic of official Russian Twitter accounts to troll the country's enemies. And this video was posted by the official Syrian government account in the hours after the bombing. Well, if you weren't certain what that was, it's Bashar al-Assad walking through the presidential palace. Now, footage was posted showing life going on as normal as it can be in a country that's been at war for 7 years. Now, this is central Damascus. We can't verify the footage, but of course, it was not part of the targeted area. Now, there's a counter-narrative going on social media, and the fight back has begun in earnest. Now, news agencies have been reporting that markets opened as normal in the city following the strikes from the UK, US and France.
The strike took place yesterday, but God willing, we opened up our shops and clients came. It was business as usual in the markets. There was no impact on us. We've been living in the same situation for the past 7 years.
And let me show you these tweets which came out exposing the fake news at play. They're from an account from a guy called Christian Tleibat. He says that this video is being shared showing the strikes on #Syria in Damascus. But guess what? The footage shows the shelling of the Ukrainian city Luhansk back in February of 2015. He also posted this image showing what was meant to be a Russian S-300 targeted during the strikes. Well, indeed, it shows that specific long-range surface-to-air missile is actually inverted from August 2016 when an S-300 failed during an exercise. And it was all nicely rounded off with another tweet, this one, of course, from President Trump. And this one with a line that's a throwback to that infamous moment when President Bush declared mission accomplished in Iraq. Well, we all know how that turned out. Now, there's only one thing trending on social media this weekend.
Coachella, thank you for allowing me to be the first black woman to headline Coachella. Ain't that about a bitch?
Now, in years to come, people will ask, where were you when Beyonce headlined Coachella? Well, I was out for dinner with friends, but for millions of others, Coachella, as it's now being called, was a seminal moment. It was the first time a black woman has headlined the main festival, and as always, they killed it. from one superstar to another. This is Adele watching the show and losing her breath. She posted this and that on her Instagram account. And these kind of scenes were playing out in kitchens and living rooms across the world. Thank you, Internet. And here's some more of our favourite online reactions. I like this one from the director Ava DuVernay. She asks, which part of Wakanda are we from? And responds, Coachella. Now, Beyonce's Legion declared her the queen once more, and she really was. Now, Starbucks, the place to go for average coffee, terrible food, but don't wait there, especially if you're black. Have a look at this video, which has been watched millions of times in just the last few days. It was filmed in Philadelphia by a shocked customer. Two men went into the shop to wait for a friend. They didn't buy anything, and then Starbucks staff called the police, and this happened.
What did they do? What did they do? Someone told me they did.
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing. They didn't.
What did they do?
Well, the police turned up and arrested the men. As you can see, they were taken away in handcuffs. They were later released because there was a lack of any evidence that a crime had been committed. But the city's chief of police defended his officers' actions.
That these officers did absolutely nothing wrong and that they did a service that they were called to do. And if you think about it logically, that if a business calls and they say that someone is here that I no longer wish to be in my business, they now have a legal obligation to carry out their duties, and they did just that.
And of course, as you can expect, Starbucks have said, sorry. This is their statement. In it, they say they are working with the community and the police to make sure that this type of thing never happens again.
This incident does not reflect the spirit of our brand. It was an unfortunate incident, and we'll be sure to make it right.
We want to know your thoughts about this. Do get in touch. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Now, Ethiopia is just one of many nations around the world who've demanded their historical artifacts be given back after they were stolen or taken as spoils of war during the Age of Empire. Now, we'll discuss the specific Ethiopian case in a few minutes. First, have a look at this.
They're beautiful. I'm gonna take it off your hands for you.
These items aren't for sale.
How do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Or did they take it like they took everything else?
Bekele Mekonnen is a professor at the Addis Ababa University School of Art. Professor Mekonnen, thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of the Victorian Albert Museum's idea that they can look after treasures better than the Ethiopians could?
Thank you for having me. I've heard with my friends on the mainstream media. Our immediate response was, of course, happiness. We're happy, thinking that it is a political deal, a political procedure, fearing that it has consequences if you say, okay, right away, that makes us happy. At the same time, we are laughing with this strange farce, how the looters automatically became loaners.
Mm. And it's only going to be a temporary loan, though, isn't it? And I know that the Ethiopian government have petitioned ages ago to have these treasures returned permanently.
That makes it laughable. It's looted artifacts, which doesn't speak about the owners at the moment, which doesn't communicate, which doesn't narrate about the owners. It is from somewhere about somebody's story, life, and so on. So that makes it lovable when you are a looter, and at the same time, you are hypocritically become a loner at the same time.
And Professor, their argument is that the V&A and museums in general in the West can look after these kind of things better than places in Ethiopia or wherever else they've been stolen from. What's your response to that?
That's very arrogant and very hypocritical. One cannot tell how to keep it, when it is someone's treasure and someone's history. We know, and we are the decision makers, what to do and how to hold it, how to keep it. So this tells you that, still in the 21st century, how might is a central element in the global order than, to govern this world, even in the so-called Western world, the partially civilized, with a wealthy world, than principle and moral and what have you.
Absolutely. Okay, Professor McConnell, I've got an idea. When it comes back, just keep it. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, let's take you around the world for the other stories you need to know this Monday. Israel says it will release from detention 200 asylum seekers it had been intending to deport to Uganda, as the deal with Uganda is still being finalised. The men are from Eritrea and Sudan and are part of nearly 40,000 African migrants Israel has been trying to kick out for years. Now, many entered the country from Egypt, and the Israeli government has placed most of them in desert prison camps. A deal to send thousands to Rwanda fell through. The teenager who killed 17 people in a mass shooting in Florida in February says he wants to donate his inheritance to a charity or organisation for the victims' families. The 19-year-old who took the lives of his classmates and his teachers is due to inherit $800,000 when he turns 21. And a German rap duo called Kollega and Farid Bang have won an award from the German music industry, but they have a song called 0815, which is the lyric more defined than an Auschwitz victim, and I'm doing another Holocaust, coming with a Molotov. Now, the award has caused controversy in Germany and has had led to the industry there issuing something of an apology. The rappers deny they're anti-Semitic. NASA's about to launch its latest mission to search out exoplanets. They're the planets that orbit stars outside of our solar system. The new probe is called TESS, that's the Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite, and it'll go into orbit later today. It'll be launched by a Space Falcon 9 rocket, and you can watch the whole thing at space.com. Now, the video streaming site Netflix has decided to pull out of this year's Cannes Film Festival. Why, you may ask? Here's why.
Is a film festival in theaters, and for the territory of France, we would like to have all the films competing in Cannes available in theaters.
So as we all know, pandas are really fussy about what they eat. It's really bamboo or nothing for these guys. And as we constantly are reminded, they're very choosy about picking that significant other. That and humans destroying their habitat make them one of the planet's most endangered species. But did you also know they're very good at falling off stuff? This little compilation was put together by China's Shenzhen Zoo, and it's been making us smile all day. Apparently, though, pandas get embarrassed when they do things like this. That's according to the researchers who released the video. And although we're playing it, let it be known that no one here at NewsFeed condones public panda shaming of this kind. Well, that's all from the NewsFeed team. Do reach out to us with your questions, comments and complaints. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again tomorrow.